Imagine a teacup filled to the brim, unable to take in the fresh, invigorating taste of new tea. Just like that teacup, our souls must empty themselves of clutter to embrace true peace. Picture a path not paved with gold, but cleared of debris, each step lighter, each breath freer. The journey to spiritual awakening is not about gathering more, but about letting go. What if the chains that bind us are invisible, forged not from iron but from habits and illusions? Join us as we unravel these chains, one by one, to discover a life unburdened. In the timeless wisdom of an ancient Zen proverb, we are reminded, let go or be dragged. The journey to spiritual clarity is not one of accumulation but of subtraction. True seekers do not ascend by adding more to their lives, but by removing what binds their minds, limits their hearts, and clouds their souls. This tale unveils 7 invisible chains, not made of iron, but of habits, emotions, and delusions. As one embarks on the spiritual path, these chains are found at their feet. Some sprint ahead, pretending these chains do not exist, while others attempt to shatter them instantly, only to be bruised by the resistance of ego. Yet, the wise, those who tread this path with genuine intent, unfasten these chains slowly, patiently, and with great awareness. Each chain is a habitual way of being that distances them from their true essence. With every release, peace draws nearer. Now, let us delve into the journey of such a seeker, one who does not quit suddenly but consciously, slowly and permanently. In quitting, they find freedom. The first chain is that of constant comparison. The seeker once lived under its shadow, always scanning others, what they wore, how they walked, how their lives seemed brighter. The mind whispered, "Why not you? Why so little in your hands and so much in theirs?" Comparison is the thief of joy and the root of illusion. A spiritual path cannot flourish in a mind poisoned by envy. This chain could not simply be discarded. It required deep awareness. The seeker began to notice each time the mind reached outward. When another laughed, the seeker pondered, "Can this joy inspire me instead of shaming me?" When someone succeeded, the seeker whispered within, "This shows me what is possible." With meditation, the inner vision turned inward. Eyes that once measured others now measured growth within. Comparisons transformed into compassion, envy into encouragement. The great Buddhist teaching echoes this. Do not follow others blindly. Be a lamp unto yourself. True spirituality begins when the race ends. When the seeker stopped running to keep up, they began walking within. The second chain, the need to be right, once bound the seeker tightly. Arguments were not fought with fists but with words, not with violence but with stubbornness. Every disagreement became a battlefield. Every conversation a chance to win. Being right became a subtle addiction, leaving the soul dry. This chain was forged by ego, the oldest illusion in the mind. The ego believes its identity depends on superiority. Yet, the seeker observed that even after being right, peace did not follow. After every argument, something was lost, either the moment or the connection. The teachings of Zen whispered, "The finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. The seeker began to watch the need to be right rise in their body, tightness in the chest, fire on the tongue. With awareness, silence became the new response. Listening replaced reacting, understanding replaced correcting. Gradually, the need to be right faded, leaving behind a deeper truth, not spoken, but felt. The third chain, the need to please everyone, once compelled the seeker to wear many masks, smiling when sad, nodding when disagreeing, saying yes when the soul cried no. Approval from others became like air. Without it, life felt suffocating. Yet, in pleasing others, the seeker displeased themselves. The teachings say, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. Initially, the seeker thought this was selfishness, but in truth, it was self-respect. A tree cannot give fruit if its roots are weak. The first act of rebellion came as a whisper. No, the world did not fall. The sky did not crack. In fact, the seeker felt stronger. With each honest word, the masks fell, not all at once, but one by one. Some people disappeared, others grew closer, but the seeker remained real, centered, at peace. Pleasing everyone is a prison without bars. The spiritual person learns to walk out slowly, with dignity, and shuts the door behind. As we prepare to explore further, let us gently transition to the next chapter of this journey, where we uncover more chains and the freedom that lies beyond them. Join us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of the soul's liberation. As we continue on this journey of spiritual growth, remember that true strength does not flourish in chaos, but in the quiet embrace of solitude. It is in this silence that the seeker discovers their truest self, peeling away layers to reveal the essence beneath. Spiritual strength does not grow in noise, it blooms in stillness. The seeker embraced solitude slowly yet fully, and in this quiet,
they met their truest self. The spiritual path is not a race. It is a shedding, a removal of dust to reveal the mirror underneath. Each of the 7 burdens, comparison, the need to be right, people-pleasing, overthinking, material attachment, resentment, and fear of solitude, once served a purpose. But growth demands leaving behind what no longer serves us. Highly spiritual people do not become enlightened in a flash of lightning. They become clear by releasing what dims their light. Slowly, patiently, silently, they walk with less, yet in that less, they discover more. This is the paradox of the sacred path. To gain everything, one must quit what never belonged to their soul. The gentle unfolding of a spiritual life is rarely dramatic. It arrives in silence, in still, patient moments where the soul whispers truths too subtle for the busy mind. What we explored through the story of the seeker is not a dramatic escape from suffering, but a quiet liberation, one chain at a time. Let us reflect on each of the 7 things highly spiritual people quit. Not as a checklist but as a mirror to our own journey. First, quitting comparison and returning to the inner horizon. Comparison often begins with innocent curiosity, but soon becomes a trap, bending our gaze away from our own path and fixating it on others' shadows. A spiritual person does not conquer comparison with pride. but with presence. They realize no two trees grow in the same pattern. No two flames flicker in the same rhythm. By shifting the question from, "Why not me?" to, "What is truly mine?" the inner compass awakens. Joy returns, and self-worth detaches from external measurement, sinking deeper into the roots of being. In this reflection, ask yourself, am I using others as a mirror or as a measure? To quit comparison is to free the heart to walk its destined path, uninterrupted. Second, quitting the need to be right and choosing peace over victory. Truth does not demand defense, only ego does. When one begins to feel the inner disturbance behind every argument, they slowly start choosing peace over the pride of being correct. The spiritually wise observe that a calm presence wins more than a sharp tongue. Letting go of the need to be right is not weakness, it is supreme mastery. Because it shows one can remain centered even when misunderstood. In this, we reflect, what am I defending? The truth or my identity? The person who no longer needs to prove themselves becomes unshakable. Their silence speaks volumes. Their presence settles storms. Third, quitting people-pleasing and returning to authentic boundaries. Saying yes when the soul means no creates spiritual tension, not just with others, but within. The spiritual seeker realizes that to betray oneself for the comfort of others is not love. It is fear. This slow detachment from the approval of others brings incredible strength. It builds a boundary not made of stone, but of clarity. The world adjusts. Some relationships fall away, but what remains is real. Ask yourself, am I loved for who I am or for how well I disappear for others? Spiritual strength is not just in saying no to others, but in saying yes to one's inner truth. Fourth, quitting overthinking and learning to trust stillness. The mind is not an enemy, but when it becomes a master instead of a servant, chaos follows. Overthinking is the symptom of a restless spirit. It is not cured by more thought, but by less attachment to thought. The spiritual person observes the mind gently, not as a battleground but as a sky watching its clouds. Slowly, space opens between thoughts, and in that space, wisdom grows. Reflection calls, do I react to every thought as truth?
Or do I sit and let the storm pass? Meditation teaches that thoughts are guests. Some stay long, some come often, but none own the house. Only awareness does. Fifth, quitting material attachment and embracing the lightness of letting go. The more we own, the more we fear loss. But nothing physical survives time. Spirituality teaches this not as a doctrine, but as a direct realization. A spiritual soul finds comfort not in possessions, but in presence. They cherish simplicity not out of denial, but from freedom. Reflection arises. Do I use things to define me, or do I define the value of things? The person who can walk away from anything yet still remain whole is rich beyond measure. Sixth, quitting resentment and embracing the fire of forgiveness. Resentment is a wound we keep alive, not to heal but to remember. Forgiveness does not say what happened is acceptable. It says what happened will no longer control my energy. The spiritually evolved do not wait for apologies. They choose peace unilaterally, not for others, but because their inner temple demands calm. Ask within, whom do I still carry as a burden in my mind? Letting go of resentment does not erase memory. It transforms it from poison into wisdom, from chains into freedom. 7th, quitting the fear of solitude and embracing sacred aloneness. Solitude frightens those who cannot sit with themselves. But for the spiritual being, solitude is the purest temple. Within it, noise dies, masks fall, the self meets the self. The spiritual person walks into solitude like a river returns to the sea. It does not mean being cut off from others. It means no longer being cut off from the self. Reflect deeply. Is my fear of silence the fear of hearing what is true? When one finally learns to sit alone, they become complete, not needing attention, approval, or constant noise to feel alive. The grace in slow quitting. Each of these habits is deeply ingrained. They form not in a moment, but over years of unconscious living, so they are not abandoned like garments in a rush. They are unlearned with mindfulness, one layer at a time. Highly spiritual people do not quit these things with drama. They do not announce their evolution. They simply begin quietly, relentlessly, compassionately. They return to themselves. This slow quitting is not weakness. It is wisdom, because what is dropped slowly is dropped fully, and what is dropped fully never returns. So walk your path not in urgency, but in depth, not in the desire to be spiritual, but in the devotion to being true. As one Zen master said, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Quit what dims your light, even if it takes time, especially if it takes time, for what is released with awareness is never truly lost. It simply returns to the formless and gives space for the sacred to rise. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.